All right, guys. So I'm going to show a demo of the switch program that you guys are going to run. Um, Basically, the requirements that I'm looking for this is that you're going to have basically three methods that you need to create that are all going to use switch statements. Okay. The first one is for determining the month written out and the days of the week that it has from their input. Then you're going to create another method for determining the day of the week that they were born. And you're going to create another method for determining which line the person's prediction is. You're going to wrap this whole code in a loop so that another date can be entered and you can keep checking. I'm looking for dry programming. That means don't repeat yourself. So you're going to attempt to not use the same code over and over. So if you have a scanner, you're going to pass it into your methods instead of using another scanner. You're going to use information from one method, say for determining the day of the week. That is going to actually return a string of the day of the week, and then you can use that information to put in for this method for determining what line of the poem it is. Okay, so they should only ever enter the month, day, and year once, and everything is going to get populated from there. Okay, all of the methods, to make it easy on you, all of these methods should return a string. It doesn't matter if it's numbers. If you return the numbers as a string, it makes it a lot easier to deal with everything. Okay, so this is how my program is starting. There's an old nursery rhyme that goes like this. And then it says basically a prediction if you have a child born on one of these days. I don't know. The reason why I was thinking of doing this is because my wife is going to have a baby on the 28th, so it'd be kind of interesting. All right, so these are predictions for it. Let's see what day you were born on. What month were you born? Enter as a number. So I was born November 9th, 1982. Okay. All right. Now, what is populating out is there are 30 days in November based off of the little poem you probably learn. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. That is a switch statement. So if it is month September, April, June, or November, all of those are 30 days. So that is part of a method that you're going to use. February is 28, 29, and all the rest are 31. Okay. So that's what you're going to use to help build this. And it's printing out. I typed in 11. I used a switch statement for it to print out November. Okay. This was another method. You were born on a Tuesday. Okay. So that is calculating by this information right here. It's taking that information and putting it into another method to calculate what day I was born on. Okay. And then according to the poem, it's going off of Tuesday, full of grace. Okay, so this is getting pulled from the poem, that line. That is taking the information from when I was born, which it was returning a string for Tuesday. That can get put into this method to run it again or to return it as a string and then plug it back in to this method to pull that that phrase on the poem. Okay, and then it has try another day, and then it repeats, so I could put something else. Okay, so just so we can see that it's working, here's the day of the week. Let's go to November. This is mathisfun.com/game/day of week. You could just type that in Google and it will print out. So let's go to November 9th, 1982. That is a Tuesday. Okay. You're going to need to check several dates, especially when you're demoing this code, to make sure that it's accurate. All right. So January and February are going to be weird ones. So let's go January 1st. Let's do 2000. That's a Saturday. Okay, so let's try it here. 1, 1/2000. Okay, 31 days in January, that's accurate. It said Saturday, that was what we seen. Poem, you work hard for a living. So there we go. Saturday, work hard for a living. Okay. That is the demo for the code. Now let me show you where you can find information. So if you type in Google, you type Zeller's congruence. He's a mathematician who calculated for how to determine the day of the week from Gregorian or Julian calendars. We are using Gregorian calendars. So if you look in here, there is equations, and what we need to do is we need to find a good implementation of this and start putting that into code for our program. Okay, H is the day of the week. Notice that it's returning it as 0 through 6, which means that in our switch statement, we're going to have to deal with it returning a value of 0 through 6 to determine what day it is going to be. Q is the day of the month, so that would be the 9 when I put November 9th. M is the month, okay? So 11 would be November. Now, in this, for this equation to work, the first number that comes up is March is 3. January and February is month 13 and month 14. So you'll have to do a little bit of reading on trying to implement this. And make sure you're testing it with that day of the week from the Math is Fun to make sure that it's accurate. K is the year of the century, so it's the year. So if I put 1982 modulus 100, so I need it to return 19, not 1982. And J is a zero-based century, so it's a year divided by 100. Excuse me, this would be 82, and then this would be 19. So we are actually breaking that up. This, what you see where it has the little L's around, those are floor functions, but since we're using integers, if you use integers in your stuff, you wouldn't have to use a floor function because dividing an integer by an integer in programming results in no decimals. You are literally cutting off the decimals, which is the same thing as a floor function. Modulus, that's what that mod is. That is the that's the percentage sign when you're using it in programming. Okay, so we want to use the one for the Gregorian calendar. This one. And this does apply to us. We do care because if you try testing out -2 modulus 7, you'll get a result of -2. So you need to make some slight alterations. So this right here is the equation for the Gregorian calendar that will deal with positive modulus values. So your goal is to plug this in, and what it's returning would be the day of the week. So you're getting Q, which is that day that they say that they were born, M, the month. You're going to have to calculate separately the K and the J, store that as values for K and for J, and then write out this whole equation where it's returning that, or it's giving you the day of the week, and then you could throw it through a switch statement to give what the actual day is. So if it returns 0, then that's going to be Saturday. If it returns 5, that's going to be Thursday. If it returns 2, that's going to be a Monday. Running that through your switch statement. And you could use the default to let you know if there was some issue in your calculations where it just could return like a phrase does not compute. Okay, so this is what you're looking for. This one right here is what you're going to want to plug in. All the other ones won't give you the accuracy that you're wanting. This will work just fine. Make sure that you're testing with the day of the week. And this will be a pretty fun program. Okay, so in order to be successful in this, you're going to need to use a number of switch statements, and you're going to want to break them up into methods. 3 methods is probably the best way to break this up. And remember, you have a loop around the whole program so that it will rerun and you can enter the dates again. Okay? All right. Good luck. Have fun.